working on finishing this wall, sheeting the rest of this wall so it looks very similar to this wall. What the biggest difficulty with this was this partition right here that sticks out, making this level so it looks somewhat straight. What I'm doing here is this is what my bed frame is going to sit on right here, and this is what I'm going to use to attach this furring strip. And I have a 60-degree angle cut up here, and this gives me a good bit of space in that wall to fit plywood behind, as well as space to sleep. Give me space to fit my rock wool insulation, so it looks just like that. I'll have the insulation, the bubble Reflectics, and then the furring strips, and then from there I'll be able to put whatever I want on it. So I'll show you how I do that.
First, I start by ripping down a piece of 2x material with a 25-degree angle as a nailer for my furring strips. Next, I measure and cut to size on the chop saw. I make sure it is straight across so my wall is straight. I pre-drill my holes, then use 1/4-inch self-tapping screws to hold it in the frame. I cut the furring strips to 38¼ inches long. The first cut I make is my 60-degree angle. It is best to make that your first cut and then measure to size, because you will get a more accurate number when you cut.
Alright, so I'm going to attempt to put this up by myself. I think I got a decent plan ready, and we'll see how it goes. I just stuffed this with insulation, and yeah, we'll see how it goes by myself. It's kind of hard.
I highly recommend having a friend help you with this step of the process. As you can see, I struggled with holding the rock wool insulation up while trying to get my first furring strip started. Once I got my first furring strip on, I was able to get the insulation to stay in place.
Alrighty, so we got 2 furring strips up. It's going alright. It took me a long time to get it kind of prepared and ready to go. I'm gonna put 2 more in. I got the Reflectics up, the insulation, rock wool insulation behind it, just like that. It's going up not too bad. And then we'll finish this off and figure out how to end it somehow. I might put 1 extra one in here, one fifth one, so we have something to end on. So
the last 4 furring strips were laid out 12 inches apart. I got the first one straight and then measured from there. All my screws were pre-drilled. Then I used 1¼ inch self-tapping screws to hold them in place.
alright, so we got the wall finished by myself as soon as the help showed up.
It's a bail of mine again.
So I got 4 furring strips on the wall.
Insulation.
I got my Reflectics and then the rock wool insulation behind it, and then I'm going to tape all these seams up together to seal it up. The next thing we have to figure out is that corner right there. And how are we going to do that there, Dave?
No, my apprentice ran into a little problem here figuring it out, but it's obvious and quite easy to do. Okay, what we're going to do is scribe a piece of packing into this corner here. This is a difficult corner. We start at 0 dimension down here.
So show them the
I'm getting to that.
All right.
Don't interrupt me. Okay, and we have about 1¼ inch up here. So we're going to use this as a straight edge. We're going to put a piece of packing on there and use a pencil and bring this straight up. And we're going to take it in our shop and cut it on the bandsaw. So you have a consistent plane and dead end with plywood right into this point here and close this wall up. We'll be showing you how that turns out directly.
All right, now it's good.
Okay, do you have the camera on this time,
Yeah.
Jake? Last time we did this, he didn't have the camera on, so we're going to make it short and sweet. Put this piece of AZEK in here. It's a flexible piece of vinyl. And what we did is scribed this back section of the wall into the plane of this wall. You can see there's a pencil line up here. Scribed all that in so that when we put our finished piece of plywood on here, we have a nice finished end out here, and it planes out right. Look at the...
Piece of the framing on the wall. We used a piece of white AZEK, and it planes out good. So the wall is flat all the way across, top to bottom. Next, we took our 1/4 inch plywood and made our template to fit and trace out on another piece to fit in there, and it'll end up like this wall. So this wall, you can see our piece of AZEK that we traced and scribed in, and it fits nice. And this is their piece. We just have it tacked up because we have to figure out some wires behind it and where we want them to come out. But this wall will end up like this wall. A couple other small framing things we had to do before we started putting the paneling up was put these nailers up for light switches and things like that. So that's something you want to think about while you're framing, so you have a good place to screw to in the wall. Thanks for watching, guys. In the next video, we're going to talk more about templating the paneling for the walls. We're already a little bit further ahead, and this is what you'll see, how we got these panels to fit so nicely in the walls. And then getting into our kitchen cabinets and the bed frame. So, see you next time.